So about 2 weeks ago, I got a Ninja Creami, and every single night since then, I've been having protein ice cream. There's a lot of different flavors you can make with this thing. I've made chocolate Oreo, birthday cake, probably half a dozen flavors in the last 2 weeks. But today I wanna try something a little bit different. I wanna try making a cherry almond ice cream. Now, yes, this is gonna be a protein ice cream. I'm gonna show you exactly what goes into it, how the process goes, and how it turns out. We'll experiment together. All right, now full disclaimer, I've never actually made today's recipe, so it's gonna be an experiment. Today, we're gonna need 6 different ingredients. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, grab you a little tub and a food scale. Now we're making a double batch today, which means about 2 servings. This is fat-free Fairlife, and we're gonna use about 480 grams. Now I actually put just under 480, so it's about 460 because you usually end up throwing a couple splashes in every time you have to remix the thing. All right, next up, make sure you have a good flavored protein powder. This is the Vanilla Ice Cream by Optimum Nutrition. Solid macros, and it's not too expensive. So you're just using a plain vanilla for today's recipe. I feel like that's gonna be the best bet. All right, we're gonna put in 1 full scoop. Next one, super important step, don't skip this. This is the sugar-free vanilla pudding mix. Make sure you get the sugar-free because otherwise you're adding extra calories in, but it does contain xanthan gum, which is an important ingredient to make sure it thickens properly. We're gonna use about 10 grams of this. All right, next up, you wanna make sure you artificially sweeten it somehow. So today we're using this stevia that my mother-in-law gave me actually. Shout out, Stephanie. You can use pretty much anything you want, just make sure you adjust the sweetness accordingly. Best part is you can mix it all together, take a little taste, and if it's not sweet enough, just add a little more. We're gonna do about 2 grams worth of this today. All right, and if you followed along so far, that is the base for pretty much any Ninja Creami protein ice cream that you want. So you can play around with the protein powder flavoring and the pudding packet flavoring, but if you use those 4 core ingredients, you can basically make anything. So now we're gonna experiment. We're into the danger zone. Never tried this one out. So I have some almond extract here, pretty easily obtainable, just a Walmart, something like that. We're gonna put in maybe a teaspoon. All right, I lied. Actually, let's try half a teaspoon. That's like this right here. You know what? I lied again. We're just gonna give it a little splash for extra flavor. I like almond. All right, and the last thing I got today were some maraschino cherries. Now, these are not healthy, but they taste great. So what I'm thinking about doing is using a little bit of the cherry juice that's in here just to throw a splash of flavor in the ice cream. We're gonna save the cherries as a whole until the ice cream is mixed. And we're gonna throw them in on top and mix that in. Now the question is, how much cherry juice should I use? I'm thinking maybe starting with like 5 to 10 grams, and we'll go with that. That's why we hit the gym. All right, I'm gonna be smart about this. And instead of just taking this and dumping it and letting it drip on the side, we're using a spoon. Okay, so just 1 spoonful was already 3 grams. I think we're gonna need more than that. Let's try 10. All right, so we put in about 12 grams worth of the cherry juice. And again, it is sweetened. So if you get something that's not maraschino cherries, they're probably not gonna come in a sweetened juice. So just be mindful of that. This is how it looks so far. Now, I highly suggest that instead of a spoon, you invest in one of these guys. Probably pick them up for like $5 to $10 off Amazon, but this thing makes stirring way easier and way more uniform. Alrighty, here's our creation thus far. Enter the stir stick. Usually I just let it make a little mini tornado at the bottom there, and you gotta go around the edges. All right, and voila, there it is. It's got a slight pinkish tint to it. Looks pretty good. Smells kind of like cherry almond. That actually tastes pretty good. I'm a huge fan of amaretto, so if you want to make it a little boozy, you could always throw a splash in there. I'm sure it'd come out great. We're not doing that today, but you can always do that at home. All right, so last step, grab your lid here. Smack that puppy on top. Into the freezer we go. That's it. Now I will say, for the best results, I found that giving it a complete freeze overnight will get you the best, like thickest consistency, more similar to store-bought ice cream. For the sake of experimenting in today's video, we're gonna come back in about 6 hours, mix that thing up later tonight, try it, and then we're gonna freeze it again, have the other half tomorrow night, and give you a comparison. Booyah. All right, so it is actually the next day. I let this thing have an overnight freeze because I went to check it out last night after only about 5.5 hours and it was not ready yet. Okay, this is way soupy. Cannot eat this right now. So, as you can see, we let it have that overnight freeze. Again, very important to give it at least like 10 hours or so, preferably more if you can. Now, as you can see, some of that pudding mix is just naturally gonna sink to the bottom, but I feel like it came out with a very good, like slightly peachy, pinkish color here. Check it out. There we go. It smells just like cherry almond. All right, so now all you gotta do, grab your Ninja Creami, locked and loaded. All right, now for all the ice creams that I've been making so far, I literally just put it on the light ice cream setting. I have not tried the regular ice cream. I usually just do the light because that's what I've seen so far, but I'm sure they're both good. All right, let's give that a whirl. All right, 4 minutes later. That's kind of what we're looking like. All right, so already much better consistency than last night. See, that's pretty thick. Now you can also see there's some of this like drier, crumbly type of ice. It just needs to get re-spun. So you're gonna throw in just a small little splash extra of your milk. But before you do that, make sure you scrape down the sides of the Ninja Creami container. Sometimes that ice will build up along the outsides and it just makes it hard to mix the whole thing in. Bonus points if you can scrape the bottom, but it's gonna be pretty hard to do with a whole pint of ice cream in there. All right, so just a small little splash extra. That's literally all you need. And we're going back for a respin. So again, full, respin. There it is, pint of ice cream. Now just so you guys can see the consistency on this, like, that's it. So last step for this, I'm just making a little divot in the middle, and that is where I'm gonna be adding some of these cherries in for today. So these cherries are about 10 calories a piece. I'm thinking I'm gonna put like 6 of them in here because I'm gonna eat like half the pint. So it's like 60 calories worth of toppings. I remember I haven't tried this one before, so I have not actually seen how this will come out yet, but this is how it looks so far. Looks pretty good. We're gonna throw it back in the Ninja Creami, but we're only doing the mix-in feature this time. It's still gonna use the blade, so they'll probably get chopped up a little bit, but it's not gonna blend them real thin. So we're gonna select full again, but this time hit the mix-in feature. Alrighty, let's see. All right, there we have it. Cherry almond ice cream, you can see. Kept some of the cherries like really well intact. Like this is literally a whole cherry. Little pieces and all sorts of swirls in there. Looks pretty good. Look how dense that thing is too. Let's give it a taste. That is excellent. Now in a second, we're gonna go over the macros and calorie breakdown for this pint. I'll give you a spoiler, it's like under 250 calories and for a decent amount of protein, but I'm gonna let my wife give it a taste so we can get another opinion here too. All right, maraschino cherries are like her kryptonite, so.
That's all I want.
I feel like this is gonna be somewhat biased, but we'll see.
Oh my God.
What do you think?
That's so good. It's like amaretto.
Exactly.
Cherry.
Exactly.
So creamy.
All right, now let's just give a quick macro breakdown here. I'll throw the macros up on the screen too. But for half that pint, so there's 2 servings in there, it's gonna be about 230 calories for 26 grams of protein. And remember, that's with 60 calories worth of cherries thrown in. So if you didn't even have that and you just left a little bit of the juice in there and the almond extract, you'd be looking at well under 200 calories for 26 grams of protein. So it's a pretty solid snack at the end of the night. Like I said, I've been having these things every single day for the last couple weeks since we got a Ninja Creami. So I'll make sure to drop the recipe in the description of this video too if you want a written recipe card. But if you like this video, make sure comment down below what else you want to see me try making, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.